Professor Gamzu and Professor Wendon, thank you very much for joining us. I would just like to kick off this conversation with a question to you both. Restart IL is about innovation, it's about optimism, resilience, but it also is about cooperation between different countries, connecting the Israeli innovative ecosystem with the countries that we visit. We are here with two countries, Israel and the UK, which have extraordinary health systems, public health systems. What do you think the Israeli innovative ecosystem can bring to this system, and how can the UK reciprocate in cooperation?
Thank you very much. I will open. We just heard about how important is the high-tech industry in Israel, how our ecosystem, like a startup nation culture. Just imagine that healthcare is unsaturated in the use of technology, in the use of data. We are still old-fashioned in the way that we practice. Just imagine more and more technologies, more and more usage of data, more and more high-level AI in our daily practice. Just imagine how this can leverage our ability to give healthcare. And this is what we are trying to do daily. Israeli healthcare system has a huge opportunity. We can lead the health tech, digital health, medtech industry in the world. Why? Because our healthcare system was built almost, by occasion in the best way. It's a very smart, has a balance between hospitals and sick funds, community care, in a way that we can use the data for the continuity of care. We have the data in the community services, we have the data in the hospital, and we can look at many of these data across the fields. And this is what we can bring. We are not a fragmented healthcare system. And taking, the ecosystem of high-tech, the smart people that can use data, they are doing that for cyber, they are doing that for fintech. Just migrate them to health tech, you can do wonders, and you can make physicians, clinicians, healthcare workers work in a better way, providing better health. So why the UK and Israel? Both of us has the same, more or less the same public healthcare system, very dominant by public services, hospitals and community clinics. Although the UK are very different, they have one pairs, the NHS. But still, the ecosystem can provide both countries using data and trying to make collaboration, hospitals by hospital, trust and sick funds, NHS and the sick funds, in a way that we can lead together the entire healthcare industry in the world, because there is no leader nowadays around the world. No leader. And the superpower startup, the superpower companies like Google, Microsoft, Amazon, everyone is looking for the opportunities, looking for the place to do wonders. So Israel alone, there's a good case, but UK alone, another good case. But altogether, there is a synergistic effect. This is what I'm traveling here and trying to meet more and more healthcare leaders, opinion leaders, and joining hands and bringing startup companies in Israel to the UK market, and from here, conquer the world. This is what we are. This is my opinion of that.
So I couldn't agree more. That ability, we're at the bottom of a hill at the moment, and we are going better. We are climbing that hill. We are really at the beginning of how we use data efficiently and effectively, both for the individual and for the population. And the technology, the startups that are coming along, helping us facilitate that, is quite incredible. As Ronni has said, one of the brilliant things about Israeli healthcare is that it's integrated, it's end-to-end, and it drives innovation. So you take questions that you see in the clinic, in the community, and you take it, that phrase in English is bench to bedside and back again, or bed to bench and back again. And that's whether it's in the high-end research, biotech, or in big data. The UK is fragmented. We can learn from Israel about that wonderful joined-up system of healthcare. In the UK, however, what we have a certain advantage is the volume of people. So, we are 66, 70 million, and that opportunity in terms of biobanking and that ability then to take that data and apply it to innovation is quite astounding. We are really at that point, I would argue, as a clinician now, where we move from really pretty old-fashioned integrative clinical practice to modern innovation through data, through findings. So we use the technology to truly deliver personalized healthcare. So that healthcare is no longer, I have heart disease or I have liver disease. It is healthcare which is integrated into the individual in front of you. And we can only do that through joined up systems and really invoking the opportunity of technology and research, whether that's biotech research, whether it's basic laboratory research and bringing it to the bedside, or whether it's big data and population research. The world is our oyster, as the saying goes. We are at the beginning of a really, really exciting journey.
And just to give you some examples, now I hope that we are coming out of the war. This is a crucial time for the healthcare industry, because you see the AI buzz all around us. Still, if you're walking around a hospital, if you're walking around a clinics, you see physicians working in an old-fashioned way. We are just looking at the computer. The computer gives us almost zero insights out of the medical records. We have an extremely intense medical records, but zero insights out of that. And just imagine you are doing ChatGPT. I want to do ChatGPT on my EMRs and trust surfacing knowledge from that EMR. I cannot do that today. Just one example. There is a company in London. I'm going to visit that today, second time I'm visiting there. It's called digital surgery. They are taking the data out of the surgical procedures and assisting the surgeon to do better. Because we have an image. The computer can guide me through the image and can do some kind of image analysis and saying this is this organ, this is this nerve, this is this vessel. Don't come closer to this one. We do not get that guidance today. So Medtronic and this company are all together, but they need a lab more or less to do the implication. And it's tough to do that all around the world. But in Israel, let's say in my hospital, it's easier because we are used to that. This is our culture. This is what my physicians are looking for. So this is the kind of collaboration States, UK, and Israel. States is Medtronic, one of the largest company in medtech. So this is one example out of thousands that we can enroll in. And this is what we are looking for. And this is, some companies that I just heard today, one or two, great ideas. So medtech, in my vision, is the next propeller, is the next leverage of high-tech industry. Countries, there's an opportunity, and this is what I'm trying to move ahead and to convince people, VCs, investors, anyone, in order to make their investment in this industry today.
So, yeah, and I mean, that humanity of healthcare is absolutely paramount. But human error we want to remove. And it is using that sort of technology that allows us to remove human error. I would also suggest that for patients who are my business, those who are critically ill, attached to machines all the time, I have no idea whether their immune system needs stimulating or whether it needs suppressing, overinflamed, under-responsive to infections. Can you do it over 3 days in a laboratory, but I can't bring it yet to the bedside. That would be revolutionary for critically ill patients? Similarly, is it inflammation? Is it infection? In a world where we have a real fear of truly multi-drug resistance for antimicrobials and antifungals, we need to understand that, and we need to understand much faster at the bedside, at the time, what antimicrobial we're going to administer. Again, it is that personalised healthcare that we really need to drive, as well as that population-based healthcare. If I'm in the community and I'm a bit unwell, how does my data, my physiology, move seamlessly to a clinician in a hospital for review and diagnostics, such that it's, don't worry, Jules, you can stay at home, you just need to do more walking, versus, actually, you need to come in here, we need to see you, we need to use treatments.
And I must say from my experience that usually when you are talking about health tech, some entrepreneurs, VCs, investors, are kind of afraid to enter the market because of the barriers. The barriers are the fact that the physicians are a very dominant opinion leaders, too dominant sometimes. The barriers are regulatory barriers that, you know, everything needs an FDA, everything needs kind of clinical studies. And for them, it's very, very complex. Usually they are saying to me, you know, people that are entrepreneurs and VCs. And I reply that these barriers are meaningless. Once you have leaders at the right place, once you have leaders in the hospitals, once you have leaders in the healthcare organizations, once you have such leaders in the universities and any place, in the ministries of health. You need leaders in the healthcare industry in order to attract more and more ideas, to push away the barriers. Push them away because privacy is an issue. And mainly in Europe, it's become an issue that blocks innovation. But from country to country, I see a change. I see it in the UK. I see it in Germany. Israel, for sure, because in Israel, we are the most flexible country, protecting privacy, but finding the roots to protect privacy and allowing innovation. This is the way to go. We have done that through Corona. So our almost national electronic medical record allowed us to know who was vaccinated, when and where. And this data was surfaced and it was streaming from the Ministry of Health to the authorities. And the same thing is happening gradually all through other countries. They understand that they need to do balance between privacy and innovation. So I'm saying to any entrepreneur, to any investor, to any VC that is sometimes afraid to step into healthcare, to put money, to put their investment there, this is the time because it's changing. The barriers are coming down. We find our how to go around the FDA approval system, how to go next door to the clinical study, how to allow ourselves to do such experiments or innovation within the limits, the parallel limits. So for me, the next decade is an era of revolution in healthcare. And this is, of course, an opportunity to any investor, to any VC, to any entrepreneurs that is looking at, great ideas.
So absolutely. I mean, we need to take ideas and we need to mix those ideas with the innovators and the entrepreneurs and the researchers to truly deliver what is beneficial to all of us in this room or any patient. We all want the best care that is available at the time we present. And the only way we can do that is by that intermingling, that conversation by the water cooler or by the coffee pot that brings out the ideas and that you run with and you develop and you bring back to the clinical environment for testing. We will always be safe, but if there's one thing COVID did teach us, is you've got to be fast off the mark. If we had done research the way historically we did pre-COVID, 5 years later, we'd have still been talking about it. So there are some things that have been beneficial of that. The resilience, the interlinking of individuals from various professions and specialities to truly interact differently. So to Ronnie's point, that time now is to invest and change and to really benefit from the opportunities we've got over the next 10 to 20 years, where healthcare will truly be unimaginable compared to what it is now.
Just for example, what is the role of a hospital? I'm not saying a healthcare organization, but what is the role of a hospital, public hospital in health tech, in innovation? Does it have a role? Does the CEO has a role? It is one of his KPIs. In my view, totally yes. Every healthcare leader that is leading a hospital cannot stand aside and say, okay, this is for the university, or this is for the healthcare market, or this is for the industry. This is his task. Hospitals are factories for innovation, health tech, digital health, medtech. They are the getaway. They are the landing pad. We cannot propel, we cannot push innovation without their organization. So in Ichilov, my hospital that I was the CEO until 2 weeks ago, we have an innovation hub. We are teaching our physicians and healthcare workers what is ideation, how do you do ideation, what is the difference between classic research and innovation. This is not the same thing. How do you throw away the textbook and the papers, the scientific papers, and ideate? Think about a problem, trying to solve it. How do you do that, not with your fellow physician, but with engineers, with data analysts, with people from the industry, and with, young people that are just smart and entrepreneurs? How do you do that? How do you ideate? And then we have Innovation Hub, such a culture. We have a VC. We are 15% in a VC that is focused in digital health. This is the job of a public hospital leader? Yes. I got the approval of the general accountant in Israel. It took me months to persuade him. But this is what we are doing. We have an AI division. Around 25 smart people coming from H200 unit and from other intelligence unit. Their task now is to look for patient deterioration before they deteriorate. They are looking for the one that is looking an honest case, an innocent case, but is going to deteriorate because the combination of many, many parameters says this one is going to deteriorate. Many, many parameters that a physician in a round cannot calculate by himself. So this is the changing role, in my view, of hospital and healthcare organization, and the changing role of the NHS that has vast amount of data.
But we don't have, at the moment, that level of innovative drive, and that's something we've got to learn, without question. Real opportunity. And it's not just the CEO. The CEO sets the culture of an organization and a system, and then it has to cascade throughout that organization. And patients should be saying, what are you doing? What's on the innovation agenda? What's on the research agenda? What's new? This needs to be right the way through our society.
Just to conclude with one question, this fascinating presentation of the opportunities and how it will affect public health, can you just sum up about the business model? Who will pay for it? How can the VCs and startups see a financial future to enable all of these great opportunities? In 2 minutes, please.
So I think there's a mixture. One, I think the healthcare system needs to actually have an investment pot that it looks at for that. That is innovation research departments. I think they are separate, but let's put them together for the moment. But then potentially the opportunity for joint ventures across the two. I think that's a real opportunity.
The next MRI that Ichilov has to buy cost, let's say, $2.5 million. Putting $2.5 million in the next MRI, which is maybe a little bit better, will have lesser effect than putting $2.5 million for innovation and creating an innovation hub. So resource allocation. Don't bullshit me with we don't have money to put on innovation. I'm saying that to any CEO. This is what we are doing daily. Resource allocation. So allocate part of your resource. Tell me, how many AI experts do you have in your hospital? How many? Most CEO will say, no, I don't have money for that. You do have, you just do not do wise resource allocation, in my view. You do not really accommodate to the changing role of a healthcare organization nowadays. You cannot put your data in storage and do not use it with AI experts. So you cannot find $2.5 million out of your operating budget? Don't bullshit me with that. And if you really do not have, go to your supporters for your philanthropy. Instead of a new department, put that on innovation.
Thank you very, very much.